Hi Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node. Welcome to your January 2024 tarot reading. Happy New Year, and I pray that you all enjoy. I don't know why I'm grabbing those. I intuitively picked up a download that said what time when it came to me picking up these tarot cards that I was going to use for you guys, that I was instructed to use, and time came through. And it said, what time has she? And I was instructed by Source. I had a whole little spiel for the astrology, and they kind of said, scratch that. So I'm going to roll with it. But they said for Scorpio and Pisces, timing is essential and key for you guys. So I want to see what this is about and what comes up. And of course, you'll get your main reading, but I feel like this is a part of it. This is what you're being led towards. So, what time? There's something that's going to be prevalent that happens in July. And I feel like it's this year coming. And I feel like it's very important because it affects your behavior. There's something about being brash. Brash. Look up that word if you don't know what it means. I don't have time to define everything for you. But, just be real honest with yourself. Because I feel like there is an energy of like demeaning or dementing or something, It's a demeaning energy, but I feel like there's a choice that you have to make, and it has something to do with January. And maybe not making the choice, not recognizing that it is a choice, a decision, and not choosing. Especially if you are presently dealing with someone who has commitment issues, or you have some form of trust issues yourself and not knowing where to go to. Not knowing if you can conform or if you can see past something. And also I feel here it's like you need to worry less about what you left behind. If this is a love story here, I feel like you need to worry less about how the outcome will be, especially if it is a friend of yours. Don't underestimate your intuition. Especially if you come into this feeling of indecision on the term of commitment or who you are to some degree. I feel like I'm picking up on a Pisces who's experienced deliberate blockages within your pathway, on your destination, on your journey. And it's caused you to choose the route where you're moving at a slower, calmer, wiser place. It could have something to do with, how you spent years of your life. I feel like I'm picking up on somebody who is like in their late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, even 40s, but maybe spent, is saying about 25 years for most of you all here, or a good span of your lifetime believing something and then having a shift. There's going to be some sort of reality check that comes in for you, towards you by July when it comes to this. This could be you discovering something. I'm also picking up here that this could be generationally related. If it's that long for some of you guys, I feel like this could be the occurrence of trauma-related issues, inner child work here. I feel like there's something about you focusing on your growth, but also it's like this deep discovery on how advertisement, how things of influence, things that you've been influenced by, how they affect you. It feels like baseless nonsense after a while being thrown at you if you do not consolidate. Yeah, especially if you need to get to the point when it comes to a legality or a marriage or the ideas of commitment, relationship, and marriage. Because some of you guys, I feel like your time is destined to be when it is, but if your time is coming up, I feel here it's like this energy of fear-based related situations of, am I ready or not? And then feeling less ready the more that you're kind of being tormented with like this forcefulness, energetically speaking. I could simply be picking up on the context of commitments or higher learning, educating yourself. Some of you guys could be wanting to be an attorney or switch your role, or work in some sort of legal field to some degree, or learn or study or something like that. You might learn a lot. You might incur a lot of information that really you were blindsided by. Also, I'm getting here specifically. Oh, that happens a lot, okay? I actually have a lot of background in legalities. Somebody's trying to figure out why something is moving so slow, or it feels like it's not moving, or like it's drawn out, right? But the reason why it's being drawn out most likely here is for preventative measures to actually favor you, especially if there's a situation where you may not be aware of this, but higher caliber people who are in those positions, they are already aware that there have been people who have been disputing portions of legalities and laws and things like that, and you're wondering why they're not using a portion of a law or something to factor into some sort of judgment or decision, because it would make it a bit faster, progressive for you. But you need to learn that what you're not being told, but also kind of quietly coming into the awareness of, is that that's what's going on. There are some legality issues in which may be up for dispute that are extremely significant and important in how things are ran. And so with it being up in dispute, you might have somebody who denies you but actually sees your point of view and actually legally agrees with you, but they're having you wait longer to get to your destination so that it's more solidified for you, my G. For you. I don't know how many times I have to explain that to individuals, that sometimes the way that people answer certain questions towards you, they might not necessarily be able to give you the full answer, so they might come off as a D-head, but they're not. And if you are able to really understand intuitively what somebody is telling you, then you understand that. I've actually had that done to myself countless times before, and that's why I appreciate my intuition and how it's led me through situations, especially when it comes to things about understanding not only that there is spiritual law, divine law, God-like law, but there is also laws that coexist with that are in the 3D that we are told to abide by as they have been ordained through, God, right? I'm getting here that you need to understand that this is going to favor you in the long term, and not argue with somebody who will actually then work in a dissatisfactory way. You choose this shit. You choose if you want this victory, because something here I'm also getting for those of you with Pisces placements where you have been having favor, not recognizing that you've been having favor, but still not doing something that you feel like you should be doing, or it's supposed to be done. It's been written for you to abide by because you think you're above that. I feel like something's going to make you more fucked. Okay, and I'm only saying that because based off of the last readings that I provided, I have to be mindful there. There are some people here who are coming into the consciousness of, they can't F around, and they're thinking that they're winning right now when actually they're losing worse. They're gaining more time. Feel me? So I just don't want somebody to be like, everything is up in the air and crumbled on their asses because they thought that they were actually winning or benefiting themselves just to get like taken right then and there. Yeah, swiftly, like based off of someone's childish energies or acts or immaturity. For some of you guys, I could be talking about, what's going to happen to somebody else. But I feel here, this is about honesty. This is about truth. And there's also a sense of reluctance here to deal with people who bring you this behavior. This is possibly why you were feeling brash at the beginning, because I feel like they're under the exposure for their behavior. Maybe even their prior Knight of Wands energy, but they're even acting less mature than that nowadays. whether you know or care to know, I feel like there's an awareness here of like you intuitively, by Allah, by source, by the Most High, are being, recalled to that energy to recognize, hey, while you think shit's sweet, yeah, they might be putting on this face like, there's something about their imagery. They put on a good front. Their front is kind of falling though, because I feel like people, genuine, authentic, divine people, they know not to deal with this person, but childish people do. And so there might be this imagery where they make you feel insecure in some way, but this is what they're giving off. This could be somebody who was using people's like being for something. Like people use people being for kids. People use people's beings to control them. People use people's beings, to distort people all the time, you guys. And that's why I always encourage you guys to be very much so protected. I'm also getting here, be very careful if somebody attempts to accuse you of being a prostitute, because they don't have shit on you. Okay, sweet pea. They don't have shit on you. This is a male. This is a immature person. I'm also getting somebody could be resenting that they married a fucking child. And they're heavily considering the doctrine of this. Oh, they feel like now their soulmate has turned into their soul tie. You better be careful with those labels, sweethearts. I'm talking to everybody there. When it comes to these twin flames of soulmates and how you define these things, they're very similar. Just like karmic energy is very similar. It's all meant to teach you a lesson in how you handle it. But to sabotage yourself and trying to stay in something that is deliberately making you unhappy just because it has some sort of fucking certificate with it. It's like, people go back to school all the time and get different certifications and other shit. You feel me? So if you have this codependency that this is your one and only person and that you're meant for each other, that you are just mirroring solely this person, I feel like your imagery is shattered when you might discover that the only thing that was keeping you together is possibly where you were living at. And maybe when you moved, there's hella challenges because it was actually the home that was, what you were meant to connect to. Or neighbors. Everything that you mirror, for example, can be considered a twin flame if you consider how many lifetimes some of us have come back into existence. If you don't really know what I'm talking about, maybe you haven't really gone into the contextualism of yourself, your soul identity. Maybe, if you wanted to get a personal reading, you might want to discover more about yourself and less so about love. Or maybe you've always, just tuned into love or other people, not necessarily connecting with your true self. I'll just share a little experience with myself. I've always been very curious about me because I knew the importance of who I was, and just based off of my life path number and just naturally who I am, a huge significant portion of my life is based off of how do you learn to be alone and independent when people have kind of done you wrong. And when you deal with that conflict naturally in life, you have to learn about yourself. And so I made it a big deal to really learn about my true self. Like, when was my first life? I had done my own research, and then I had other people who kind of confirmed it for me, and somebody who was able to hit it with an exact number on its head, on its tippy top, But all of them have been completely accurate in the amount of time and the time span, and how, I've learned and what I need and what I don't need in this lifetime, and how I will handle, one's following, because, this vessel, this being, it must be very important to Allah to keep it going and to be an old soul and keep, flowing with it. And for those of you who are younger at that, maybe that's something that you should be optimistic and open towards, because it'll help you to learn a lot about yourself, your gifts, and your purpose while you're here in this present time, and less so focused on just the basis of this finality of a contractual agreement that may not even be significant to your life purpose or last. It'll actually help you to be more accepting of like the vulnerability of being in solitude. So when people come at you like, oh, you're still not doing this, you're still not that, you're still not married, you're still not this, I'm like, well, bitch, it might not be because of me. You know what I'm saying? It might not be because of me. And sometimes that happens, you know. Sometimes our counterparts, even if we are meant to have them, you know, timing is key. Timing is crucial. You know, some people try to jump the gun thinking that they're sure that they're with the person that's just to find out that bitch just put a spell on you or some shit. You know, I'd rather cool it off and love me, you know? So I feel like some of you guys understand and at least empathize with that concept and kind of see, you know, the fairness in the situation or experiencing some sort of satisfaction. I could even be picking up on the victory and maybe, you know, how you've had to experience this for the long term, but it finally comes in where people truly see, you know, somebody for who they truly are. And I feel like here, it doesn't really change much for you because you already knew your worth. It's just something to celebrate more because other motherfuckers see it too, and you're not dumb and you're not crazy. Be very careful and mindful of those who are okay with allowing you to get out of control if you have a group of people around you. Because I feel like there might be an op around you who's actually not laughing with you, but at you. And I feel like the form in which this person is making a mockery or trying to intimidate you, it's like, this could be a person, right? Yeah, it is. It's a channeling right now. This is a person who's so quick at the fucking mouth. Like, this is a person who could be judging you because they thought that because you had some sort of LGBT or they felt like it was an identity crisis that you lost out on your chance, not knowing that they're sitting beside a karmic. They could be a married motherfucker too, lighter than you, if they're not your family or something like that. But they're literally like beside their karmic. They might even have kids with this person. And that's not to like justify that you're getting out of control. It's just to let you know, like, this is the type of person who would really spike you. Even if, you know, it doesn't matter the connection that you have to them. You just need to be very fucking careful. Very fucking careful. And I also feel here, after like a move or something, you really haven't seen much of this person, or like after you move, you might change your number and just never come in contact with this person again or their existence. And I feel like it's actually bringing you wellness. You could have that pattern. Fuck yeah. You could have that pattern. You deal with people who are like that often. You know, it all relates to our connection with self. Sometimes it's not us, it's actually the lessons that we're meant to learn and become strong in. This person might even want to sweet talk the fuck out of you. It's a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and truth be told, they're not even that bad on the eye, my dear. They are not even bad on the eye. But I feel like this person, there's something about the word baffling buffoon coming through. Just a good word for you. Okay? I feel like this is the type of person you're celebrating something, they might want to come in. Or you got an untrustworthy motherfucker around you who's going to allow this person, if you're in the buddy system, you know, if you've, for whatever reason that you're here, you have some form of needing protection of safety from those, and you have like safe people, but there's a weak link in the mix. They might allow a dumb motherfucker to come over, and it's not that you blame them, it's just, you know, they might know this person actually and introduce you, or they might come swift or smooth, or they might be like, oh yeah, my homeboy, you know, he said he was gonna be here, and boom, my homegirl, boom. So, no three ways this month. When it comes to a situation that you already feel, it's like you released, you don't need to be provoked. Because you got Look at that supple motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? You got a supple honey that's coming into you, or you are one and you need to treat yourself as a higher caliber person. Not only are you intellectual, some of you guys could be in telemarketing, or some form of communication, or you are trying to create your own telemarketing business or something like that. Your stream of income seems to be very important. Your flow, oh, you could be the type of person who, your flow of work, I feel like you know a lot about a lot of people or a lot of situations, but the way that you handle it, it's like if you were a middleman of something, which is quite, it's unique. I'll say that. I wanted to say odd, but I feel like you handle it well in your position, especially for your age, especially how patient you've been. I feel like it's due to your patience that people know that you're not really one to mess with, especially if you have a lot of fire placements, because a lot of people like to come at you very quick, and you're very patient, especially for your sign. You think wisely here, but I feel this is that energy that I was picking up on before. It feels like there's a dummy out there in the world who's like, oh, let me do this one last attempt to just try to fuck your life up, but they're just a big ass fucking mistake. And I feel like time could have something to do with that shit. And it's not like this person couldn't have been your person. It's due to their fucking behavior or even lack of conscious effort or emotion, or just like, this person might be speaking presently as though they don't care and all this other stuff because they're disconnected from your energy and things like that. But I feel like the truth of this matter is that you're learning that somebody's life really is a throwaway now. Like, they really have lost their moral, whatever morals they had left. I feel like it's kind of been gone, but I feel like this person is actually recognizing or attempting to recognize that this is like a real mess up, that they really lost this. And it's like they're trying to find it back. It's like they're trying to find it back. And I feel like they're completely blaming their past. They're reverting back to it. They're going back to it. So because you are connected and attached to this energy, Pisces, what does it mean for you? Well, you could be having a lot of memory recollection. You could also be recognizing things that are happening within you that might have been preventative, things that you directly see that you don't like necessarily because you were possibly ridiculed or criticized about them. Also, this type of energy will also be like a force on you sometimes, where you feel almost inconsolable, but it's because you're detaching more and more from this person and they feel you less and less. And so this person, while they say that they don't care, they're so connected to you. They have so much Six of Cups energy that they had with you at one point. You are not their safe haven, and they need to understand that. This person could have even went as far as to fake weep in front of your face and then cast a spell or curse on you in the same day. Like, legit, my G. Yeah, I'll be wondering why I don't give a fuck about most individuals. And I say that in the most neutral, loving way, respectfully. You know, when you learn a lot and you see a lot of things and you come into the awareness of what people that you've loved and embraced can really do to you, bitch, please. Okay. I feel like that's what you're getting here, and that's how it's affecting you because it's the residual energy. And I want you to be aware, even when you do your cord cuttings and cleansings and things like that, just because you feel that there is something that's still there of memory, it doesn't mean that it didn't work and that you didn't do it right and that you're not doing it correctly. It could actually be the opposite. It's about this motherfucker not being able to move on where they're being forced to. And their energy's like, no. especially if they have demonic attachments or entity attachments, as much as you motherfuckers like to say that shit doesn't exist and isn't real. It very much so is. Sometimes we even carry them through lifetimes and are innocent when it comes to them, and other times people just like to fuck with other people off of baseless memes and arguments. Okay, so cards of advice. Okay, it's these. Yeah. You could even be hearing stories and you're very tired of this karmic, hearing about this karmic, their ex, their situations. Cut cords and protect your energy. Retrograde, obviously we know that ends on January 1st, but just be mindful that depending on your energy, your awareness and things like that, sometimes it could feel like it ends a little bit earlier for you because you probably experienced it before, prior to, especially if you're a very intuitive person. Some of you guys, even though you're intuitive, you like to request that you feel the energy afterwards because it's better for you and you can actually thrive that way, especially if you are very connected to Mercury or its signs in some way. You could be a north node in the retrograde sign of Mercury. Maybe that's what you're ruled by in your north node, because sometimes them sun signs be thinking, they had the most power, don't even really know themselves at times. Not all the time, but just saying. There's something about the north node and retrograde for some reason, north node and retrograde being real relevant for you and how you feel it. Or I feel or here. Somebody still hasn't moved on in some way. For some of you guys, this could be, like I said, the person that's kind of keeping you held up, whether it's legalities or some sort of contractual agreement, maybe even a marriage or commitment. Maybe feeling like you're hearing about an ex after you gotten married, and I feel like they might be trying to like intimidate you or something like that, especially if they have like a business taking off or they hear about you guys coming into business with somebody. They get real jealous, or the fact that you even have this opportunity, that's what they're jealous of. I'm also picking up what you need to know, especially if you're coming into union with a person, if you are gaining balance after feeling slightly distorted energetically speaking when it comes to this idea of marriage or commitment of any sort, because this can even be business related here. I feel like your next counterpart, your true person, this is actually somebody's true person. There's something that's very important or significant about that. They care about that. I'm getting a strong feeling that you might go into business with this person, and I know it might seem childish on the reason why, but this person, they want to go into business with you because they actually want to make it hard or difficult for a divorce because they love you so much. They want you to really think about, the significance. And I feel like this person is very fair when it comes to business, so just be mindful of that. I feel like they really do have your best interest all around, but they might put you in a commitment like that so that you really, really, really have to even invest and consider, I feel like they care that much actually, which seems odd, but I feel like this person really does love you. And somebody's a mad hater because they could have got a reading before you did protection work or were really spiritually inclined, this other karmic person, and they got not only readings but put spell work on you to take preventative measures. So if you got a shorty that's been trying to get in the way or slow down your life, or it seems like you're the person dealing or struggling with the legalities, but it feels real baseless in this argument, it's most likely because your true person is actually experiencing something very real happening in their life, but it's meant to bring you two closer. So don't worry, sweetie, because it says if your theme feels frustrating or limiting, becoming aware of them is the first step in finding ways to unravel old patterns and initiate change. I feel like that's what you need to know if you've been wondering why your person hasn't come in. I got a few angel numbers here and there, for those of you who like the numbers or feel called to them, whether you read them, you know them or not. But 753 could be really significant to you, all right? The universe wants you to have more stability and money before your true person comes. Be optimistic. Allow this to happen. I mean shit. Like I'm there on it, okay? On the money. Literally. When it comes to this situation. Sorry for shaking y'all a little bit, but yes, just be very optimistic. Like it says, I feel like you're very self-aware. You need to very much so be present and aware of the situation in your life, because I feel like there's a sense of loneliness. Like when I first entered in, octopus could be very significant and actually could be one of your spirit animals, because you're slapping the fuck out of 8 motherfuckers at once after group harassment, toxic groups, groups of 8 people or more, bro, and you whipping all of their asses. And I feel here that you aren't alone. This is my you aren't alone card, because there's something that I always give this card. It's on your behalf, my dear. Especially if you've been gang stalked for money or embezzlement or something like that, or somebody did this to you at one point and paid money. Whether they try to double it or something like that. I feel like the karma is that your money's actually going to double up so much that they're forgot about. And I don't feel like you're a money, greedy, hungry person. I just feel like you know where to put that shit at, and you know when to do things at the most correct time, and there's somebody around them who's intuitive, who fucking struggles with time, because they've learned historically for some reason that timing is wrong. But it's like, study, you feel me? Like with everything, I don't want to get into my spiel on that, because I could literally talk about the topic forever, but like, don't ever question or second guess yourself. It's called trust your intuition and stay there for a reason. And I feel like the bitch that they're fucking around with when it comes to like the spell work or trying to harass you or get groups of people to join in on them, it could be because they feel like their numbers are like way more than yours or something like that. But it's like they're wrong, because they don't even trust themselves or their own beliefs. And it's not even something that they're meant to struggle with. They're actually supposed to be really confident at that, which shows you how, mature this spiritualist or this spell worker or whoever the fuck they thought they was is. They have a lot of things to learn. Yeah, and some of you guys, it's like you get it's not a fairy tale. And I don't want you to feel like it is. With these type of situations like this, it can be a bit hectic at times. It can be a bit hectic when you're surrounded by a person, especially your coworker, and you see how others interact with them, and whether they know that you're in the talking stages, or if you guys consider, the long term, whatever it may be, seeing your person actually become onto, that's what I'm getting specifically today with this card. Watching somebody have somebody come onto them is not always pleasant. It can be quite disturbing. Especially, I feel like whoever I'm connected to today, your person's gonna be motherfucking jealous, but it's a good thing. Like, they have jealous tendencies, but in a kind-hearted way. Or you do, but I feel like it's mainly them. It's the male, for some reason. They keep showing me this gray suit with this person, which, figuratively speaking, in a generalized way, is male. Masculine. But yeah, I get here like they can't stand something, but that might be a turn on for you. You feel like this person protects you, they respect you, and I also feel like they're gonna stand up. Like, this is definitely giving like the Office vibes, but it's the boss, but the boss ain't done. This isn't like the show The Office. But yeah, and the crown chakra here, this is what you really need to work on, because this is about awareness. Pay attention to this area, especially you've been feeling, physical exhaustion, the headaches, the dizziness, light sensitivity, brain fog, pure coordination, sleep disturbances, and whatnot. You can chant your OM, connect with the crown chakra. Wearing purple, eating purple, okay, or white is actually a very good one as well. Lavenders, frankincense, your rosemaries, your chamomiles, your lepidolites, which is a purple stone. It can also be confused with another one that's actually pretty good, amethyst. in certain forms, it can be confused with it. Sapphire, standing on your head or doing headstands are very important. And forward folds of any kind, like in yoga, folding over your legs and just kind of allowing yourself to kind of flow. If you struggle with like doing handstands and things like that, basically I just don't want to hear any excuses when it comes to y'all saying, oh, I feel a little off and funny. I made sure I had some sort of form to help you with hearing, corrective measures and things like that, just like how I do the color healing with you guys when it comes to the selenite and clearing you guys every time you get a reading over here. Okay, so that was your messages, Pisces. I hope that you enjoyed this message, that it resonated with you in some way, shape, or form, that it was useful to you. Thumbs up the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. I would love to read for your energy, and I pray that your 2024 is blessed, is prosperous for you guys, and that it is beneficial to your life. Okay, I love you so much, and I will talk to you next time.